Hello everybody, Pineapple here. So today I wanted to take a look at Labrynth, which has very quickly become one of my favorite control or back row decks in the game. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Labrynth, it's a series of fiend monsters that all either plus you or minus your opponent whenever a monster is removed from the field by one of the effects of your normal traps. This means that all of your removal traps are transformed into more than just a simple one-for-one trade, into potentially massive swings and card advantage. It also gives you a plethora of options in how you play, which is perhaps my favorite thing about the deck, is that it's unsolved and it doesn't rely on floodgates, making it far less toxic. So, with that, let's get into the deck list. So, first up, we have two copies of Lady Labrynth of the Silver Castle. This card is unbelievable for maintaining advantage, and unlike Lovely, it's not a brick if you draw it. So whenever you activate a normal trap or a Labrynth card or effect, she summons herself from your hand, and as long as you control a set card, she can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Additionally, whenever a normal trap is activated, she can set a normal trap directly from your deck with a different name, which is more than useful for maintaining advantage and grabbing you the cards that you need. Next up, we're on One Lovely. Now this card is still great, but unlike Silver, she doesn't protect herself, and she is technically a brick, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't do some amazing things for the deck, like make it impossible to respond to your normal traps with monster effects, which is kind of useful. Additionally, whenever you remove a monster with a normal trap, you get to either pop a card in their hand or on the field, so you can hand loop with this deck, which is, not toxic at all, I swear. Additionally, once per turn, she can reset a normal trap from your grave to the field. We're also on 3 Fenrir. It's Fenrir. You know why it's here. For the maids, we're on 1 pink and 3 green. So green searches you a Labrynth card on summon, and pink will let you pitch a normal trap from your hand or field to summon a level 4 or lower fiend from your deck in defense position. They both allow you to draw a card whenever a monster is removed from the field by a normal trap, and then either special a fiend from your hand or set a spell trap from your hand. The free +1 is always appreciated. The hand ability to set or summon does come up, and it potentially allows you to play your traps a turn earlier, which is awesome. And that's mostly due to the furniture. Speaking of the furniture, we're on one chandelier, one stovey, and one cuckoo clock. So not cuckoo clock, chandelier and stovey both allow you to discard themselves or send themselves from the field, along with another card from your hand, in order to set a Labrynth spell trap directly from your deck. This does come up a lot. Sometimes you need to find what you welcome or the field spell, and this is the best way to do it. It sucks to go -1, but you got to do it. Coup Clock is really interesting. If you discard it, it allows you to activate a normal trap card the turn it was set if you control a Labrynth monster. It allows you to do some funky things. It's kind of necessary to play because when it comes up, it really saves your bacon, and you'll be glad to play it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but again, when it saves your bacon, which happens more than you think, it feels really good. So we're also on 2 copies of Absolute King Backjack, the best Jack Atlas card that was ever printed, because we're a normal trap deck. We're on 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. We don't really care about our extra deck too much, but the consistency that Prosperity provides is fabulous, so obviously we're playing it. We're on 2 copies of the Field Spell. This card is fantastic. So it turns all of your Labrynth normal traps into removal spells. Additionally, if you activate a non-Labrynth normal trap, you get to special summon a fiend from your hand or grave, meaning you can retrieve your boss monsters should your opponent actually get rid of them, which makes it much harder for them to continue a grind game. We're also on 2 copies of Ghastly Glitch. This card is unbelievable. It's a removal spell. And then you get to bin a fiend like Backjack or one of your boss monsters or one of the furniture or whatever you need in that moment. We're on 2 copies of Destructive Dharma Karma Cannon. It's a board wipe. It's a little funky, but it blows out some decks. It's comes up. I'm not the hugest fan of it. I'm debating cutting it personally, but it does a lot. We're on 2 copies of Punishment, 2 copies of IDP. I don't need to explain why those are good removal spells. We're on 2 copies of Ichiro's Ledger Book. If you're unfamiliar, this card has you target 2 cards your opponent controls, banish them till the end phase, and then your opponent gains 1,000 life points for each monster that was removed by the field. It's just a fabulous way to get monsters off the field and trigger your Labrynth monsters. That's all there really is to it, but it's unbelievable. Then we're on 2 copies of Terrors of the Underroot. It's you target a card on the field, send it to the grave, and then set another card in your opponent's graveyard to their field. It's non-destruction removal. That's why we're on it. 2 copies of Trap Trick. It's Trap Trick. We're a normal trap deck. 3 copies of Welcome Labrynth. You special summon this card has you special summoning a Labrynth from your deck. Which, if you have the field spell, turns it into a removal spell. It also lets you retrieve your boss monsters, which is fantastic. Additionally, if it is in the graveyard and you remove a monster from the field with a normal trap effect, you get to reset it to your field, so it loops itself. That has to be activated on a different turn than the one it was sent there, but still, it's fantastic. We're on 3 copies of Solemn Strike, because sometimes you need to negate things. That's all I have to say. You gotta negate things sometimes. In the extra, it's very much a extra that is designed to work specifically with punishment. So we have all the best punishment targets, then generic extra deck stuff. Additionally, we're on a DDD package because you can make Wave King Caesar rank up into Marksman Kingtail, and then overlay for Machine X, and either use it to make a huge Zeus or just destroy them. So with that, let's hop into the games. So, for our first match, we are up against Drytron. So we'll start off with Fenrir, and we'll use Fenrir to grab Fenrir before summoning Pink. We'll then use Pink to cycle and grab Green, and Green will then grab the field spell. From here, we're just going to set to activate the field spell, but before that, we're going to make Deus Machine X, and then set to and pass back to our opponent. Own it. So, they'll begin with Prosby, and they'll find off the top a copy of Diviner, and so they'll take Diviner and begin to do Drytron things. They'll activate their field spell, we'll clear the field spell and get Silver, and they'll go into pre-prep and grab Ben 10. From here, they're going to go move Beta, and we're just going to strike that. We don't want them searching everything. They'll Ben 10 for Ben 10. And from here, they'll reveal that they do, in fact, have the Delta, so they can draw. We'll banish the Delta to keep them off of any bodies. They'll grab Natasha. And from here, they'll normal Diviner. We'll attempt to just yoink the Diviner, but they have Droplet. And they'll grab Meteonis before passing back to us, since they don't have any machines on field. And that is going to be the end of the game, since they can't really outgrind us. So, for our next match, we're up against Tenyis. So, we'll start with Arya, and we'll use it to attempt to grab something, but we'll get Ash. So, we'll set 3, activate the field spell, and pass back to our opponent. They'll draw for a turn, and they'll go Foolish Burial Goods, and they'll dump Heavenly Circle. They'll go Duality, and they'll find the red Tenyi. From here, they'll activate their field spell. We'll clear it with Glitch and bin Backjack. We'll use Backjack, and then we'll use Backjack to set a copy of Welcome to our field before using Welcome to grab Silver and clearing their set card. We'll draw a card, Trap Trick, and then set an IDP, as well as setting Terrors of the Underroot. From here, we'll just try to get in for some damage. We'll just go directly to combat. I'm not sure why I didn't summon Green. I think I was trying to play around evenly for some reason. I have no clue why. But we'll set the Welcome we searched off Green, and then just keep the party rolling. For some reason, they are playing Duality and Tenyis. It's also a 60-card Tenyi pile. I'm not really sure what they're doing, but it's pretty funny to just destroy them. So we'll grab Lovely, trigger all of our cards. We'll loop a card out of their hand, reset Welcome, and that's going to be the end of the game as we get in for well over lethal. So, our last game of the day is up against Mutant, which I did not know how the deck worked. But we'll start with Fenrir. We'll Fenrir for Fenrir. And from here, we'll go Prosby. And we'll find off the top a copy of Arya. I believe we find Arya. Oh, no, we just find the field spell. We'll activate the field spell, set a copy of Welcome, and trigger Silver Castle. And set Welcome and pass. They'll start with Shifter that they find off the top, which is frustrating, but we can play under it, so it's not the end of the world. They'll E-Telly for 46. They'll 46 to search. And we'll keep them off a monster. They'll 05 for Mutant. I'm going to attempt to remove the Mutant here, but they have Ash, so we can't Welcome, which is really annoying. So they'll get out Mutant. They'll banish Cry. and summon Arsenal. And then they'll get out Beast. Then we'll go into combat, walk over our lovely, set 2, and pass back to us. They'll flip over expansion, grab 46. They'll 46 for their field spell. And we'll Fenrir in an attempt to get some things off the board. We'll grab out another Fenrir, use Fenrir to search Fenrir, before setting 2 and passing back. They'll draw for turn. They'll attempt to cry. They'll make their boss monster, and from here we'll just use Welcome to clear their back row because it protects their guy. We'll try to banish their guy. They'll chain it, and we'll Karma as well as chain Silver. So we'll set Terrace of the Underroot, clear their board. They'll draw E-Telly again for another 05. They'll 05 for Mutant. And from here we're kind of out of interactions. They'll use the field spell. I'll go into Genator Transverser, special Mutant. And they'll actually take our boss monster, but unfortunately for them, they can't really get around anything that we do. So we'll just flip up Fenrir, go to combat, get rid of their field spell, and they'll scoop it up since they can't really outgrind Fenrir. So that's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoy Labrynth. It's one of my up-and-coming favorite archetypes. It's going to get a big boost in Hypernova with big welcome Labrynth. Yeah, I love that this deck, you can take it in so many different directions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, and I'll see you in the next one.